Welcome to Make It Yourself Living. In this video, we're going to be looking at how to create some hair conditioner. Now, as we start, what you're going to see is my just showing you some of the ingredients you're going to need to do this. Now, I did see the original recipe here on YouTube, and I will link the original recipe within the description so you can watch it. It is not shelf stable since you're using coconut milk. Once you open it up, you have to keep it in the fridge. But that's okay. It's a small price to pay because I can get 6 cans of coconut milk for about $15 at Costco. And I bought a 24-ounce bottle of Pantene. It cost me over 20 bucks. So 6 cans of coconut milk, which I only need 3 in order to make the 24-ounce conditioner, only costs $7.50. So I take that, and even if I figured the remaining items are going to cost me $2.50, which would be kind of overdoing it because it's a tablespoon here, a teaspoon there, it would still be only $10, so you're getting conditioner for half price. And like I said, the only downside is you have to leave it in the fridge. So the first thing added is the coconut milk. I only do 1 can at a time. I don't want to keep a lot in my fridge because we usually have it crammed full of other stuff too. Space my fridge comes with, it gets interesting. So here I'll be adding in the coconut milk, and the rest of it should be pretty easy. I like to keep it in a relatively clear jar so I can see what it's doing. And I believe I'm getting myself something in order to make this happen, but the original jar I used was a narrow neck jar, so at one point you'll see that expand out to a wide neck mason jar. So there is the coconut milk. Now some of this other stuff might be a little tough to see, but I'll talk about it as we're doing it. Now for this part, we're going to be putting in a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. And what I will include within the description is why each one of these ingredients is helpful for your hair. So that was apple cider vinegar. Next, what I'll be putting in is a tablespoon of castor oil. Now, I used a tablespoon. I've got dry, coarse hair. If you've got oily, fine hair, I wouldn't use a tablespoon. I'd start off with a teaspoon. You can always add more. But if you make it too moisturizing and your hair thinks it's too much, you're going to wind up having to throw it out. So use 1 teaspoon if you have fine, oily hair. If you're normal hair, use 2 teaspoons. If you have dry, coarse, or thick hair, throw the full tablespoon in there. So that was castor oil. And once again, as I mentioned with the apple cider vinegar, I'll put in why this helps your hair within a description. Okay, here's where you're going to see me dump just a teaspoon of coconut oil in here. And I do recommend putting the entire teaspoon regardless of your hair type because coconut oil is actually an antimicrobial. So in a way, it will help keep this conditioner fresh longer than it would if you didn't put it in. So you only want a teaspoon. Now, when coconut oil gets hot, under 70 degrees, it will melt. And it does solidify below 70 degrees. So I'm going to close this up in a few minutes and put it within the fridge. I want it to get cold. I want the coconut oil to solidify because currently I don't have any fractionized coconut oil that will remain liquid. I'm going to let all this get cold and then I'm going to take a blender and I'm going to blitz it. Now, here I see myself putting in honey. I believe I put in too much honey for this, but the whole recipe is 1 can of coconut milk, 1 tablespoon of honey, 1 tablespoon of castor oil, and 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar with that teaspoon of coconut oil. Now remember, the coconut milk itself is also going to have some coconut oil in it. So after I put this in the freezer for a while, I'm going to get out my stick blender and blitz it. The consistency is sort of like milk. You might feel a little bit of graininess to it. That's the coconut oil after it's been fridged. You know how it solidifies? It goes in your hair really well. Put it in your hair. It won't cover it like normal conditioner because normal conditioner is thicker. This is more consistency of milk. So go through and cover your hair as best as you can. Let it sit in your hair for just a little bit. It's not going to hurt a thing. And then go ahead and rinse it out. Here I'm just mixing it all together. And that's all that's going to go there. I'll stick it in the fridge, and when we start talking again, you're just going to see me yank it out and blitz it up. So I look forward to talking to you now. Now I did change out the bottle, and here it is now. And I'm just sticking my stick blender in there. It's going to go ahead and give it a good blitz. And then put it back in my fridge. I know this is going to sound silly, but if you live with kids, I would definitely recommend labeling this. Conditioner, do not drink, because it could look like a glass of milk. I leave it in my dispenser so my kids normally don't touch it. And I was just moving it out because I didn't want to drip conditioner all over the floor. So I'm over by the sink dumping out the blender. And that does conclude the video. That's the completed conditioner. And once you stick it in the fridge, it's ready to use on your head. I do recommend it highly. And like I mentioned, I will put in the originating recipe. I'll also include different things of like why apple cider vinegar, honey, or other items would be helpful for your hair. Once again, thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a real great day. Bye. What you're going to see in this last little bit of the video is my taking the conditioner and put it within the dispensers that I purchased. And you can see that I'm doing it here. Do you have to put it in dispensers? Heavens no, you could leave it in a mason jar if you want. It would make it quite easy to just take the mason jar with you whenever you want to use it. But I did put it in dispensers. Now, this is a little hard to get to come up in a pump dispenser. I also tried it in a foaming dispenser, and that's probably because of the coconut oil. So I'm recommending that once you make this, you may want to just get a squeeze bottle if you want it in something other than a mason jar. What that'll do, let's say that some coconut fat still gets caught in it, you can always nip the top of the squeeze bottle a little more to make more room for it. Of course, you got to be careful when you put it in your hair, but it will work. So here I've got it in a measuring cup. I should just buy myself a funnel, but I hadn't yet. So I just do a measuring cup and then put it into these bottles. Now I've got these off of Amazon. They were relatively cheap, but these are, as I already mentioned, the pump bottles, and they're really not working very well with this type of conditioner. So I would recommend a squeeze bottle. Once you have that squeeze bottle in place, if you need a larger opening, you can make it. So I'll let this continue running and finishing up. You'll see me fill up the two bottles, not entirely. One gets full up, the other one not as much, and close everything off. Once again, thank you.